Alright, so that's how I usually sync up the video with like the audio recording from my MacBook on the microphone here. You don't see it. I'll show it off right now. Hello. So that's the microphone. So I'm editing the video right now. I'm just gonna let you know right now, as I'm editing it, it's pretty long. It came out to like around 40 minutes. So I'm editing it down to basically make it a two-parter. So the second part will be the actual haul. That's where I'm gonna be talking about everything that I got, why I got it, and some other stuff. But on this video, it's just gonna be the technical things. So that's gonna be more in line with this channel. So if you wanna watch the haul, that's gonna be a video on the second channel. That will be in the link in the description. And yeah, so if you care about the technical aspect of things, you can go ahead and watch all the way through with this video and stuff. And if you want to see the rest, go ahead to the second channel. And yeah, thanks for watching. I guess I'll like introduce my player, because I only have one player at the moment. I do kind of plan on upgrading this at some point. That would be this laptop right here, this Acer Aspire V3772G, I think is what it's called. It's a 17-inch laptop from like 2013 or 2014. It's got an i7, 16 gigs of DDR3 RAM, a 256 gigabyte SSD, and it has room for like 3 SATA drives if I wanted to. So I could put hard drives in here. I do have spare hard drives too. I think I have a 328 gigabyte hard drive and another 1 terabyte hard drive from my iMac that I pulled out when I upgraded that. So if I wanted to fill up this thing and turn it into a freaking movie server, I could do that as well and just basically stream these in my own network instead of having to watch them physically. So, you know, this laptop has a little bit of a story before we go into this. This laptop, I got it for $200 a couple years ago when I first moved to Illinois and sold all my stuff so I can get a gaming laptop. And so for a while, I didn't have a computer, and so I bought this thing, and it was a pretty good deal for what it was. And so this is my computer that held me down for about like 2 months before I had enough money to buy my gaming laptop. Fast forward a few years, my gaming laptop broke, something with the motherboard or the BIOS. I had to sell it for parts on eBay. It only ran Linux, but I needed Windows for college. And now I have a MacBook and an ROG Ally, and I'm selling my desktop PC, so we could make another video about that some other day. I got options now. This all belongs to me. I could go to multiple streaming services and have to, you know, find everything. Maybe Amazon like Prime Video might have everything available, but not everything. So that's kind of the cool thing here, okay? I got multiple shows, multiple series of movies, and some like standalone movies. I'm sure there might be a subscription service that has most of these, but definitely not all of them. That's for certain. So, you know, I don't have to pay the price of a subscription to have a low bitrate, you know, video encoding kind of experience, you know, because here's the thing, man, and we're going to talk a little briefly about streaming here when it comes to like film and like movies and stuff, or you know, movies and shows, because people don't know this. In the last video, I went over how there's like streaming quality for music, and for the most part, MP3 is kind of fine. Most people won't be able to tell anything higher quality. Hi-fi is kind of only good if your ears can detect it, and if you're locked in enough to really notice, and if you have the right hardware. From everything that I've experienced and tried for myself, I'm okay with CD quality. I'm okay with MP3 quality even, because for the most part, I'm not super locked in listening to music unless it's like at night and like I'm in a dark room, my eyes are closed, and so the only senses I have active in that moment is my sense of smell, my sense of touch, and my sense of hearing. And so everything's just kind of like dialed up and I'm more aware at that point. So that's not most of the time that I'm listening to music though, especially if I'm doing other things. I'm just busy in whatever it is I'm doing, or I'm like playing a game, so there's like multiple things happening at once. That's why I'm not super critical about it anymore, but even then, for the most part, the physical version of music is kind of also superior in the sense of like the experience and the listening experience as well. The physical media aspect of things, it's cool to have a record, it's cool to have a cassette tape, it's cool to have a CD, it's cool having these on your shelves and knowing like this belongs to me, and like there's history with that, or like you remember when you went and bought it, or when you got it as a gift, or whatever it may be. There's a physical tangibility to that, and no one can take that from you unless you sell it to them, or unless you get, you know, robbed. So, you know, I could subscribe to multiple streaming services to watch all this stuff, and then where I could subscribe to one like it used to be back in the good days when it was actually worth your money, and now you have to like basically pay for cable TV to watch everything, or, you know, maybe if you're like sharing subscriptions with people, which is another hot button issue when it comes to password sharing and all those things, and again, just pricing. The more and more that things are added to these services, the more it costs to subscribe to them and all those things. So there's all that. There's going to be a lot of just like me rambling about, you know, that side of things before I even like go into what I actually got here. You can sort of briefly see what I'm seeing like in the frame a little bit, but I'm mostly just, you know, commentary for this video, and then we'll go over what I got, you know, sort of one by one, and, you know, talk about it a little bit. Just looking at this from a glance, this is already like 3 or 4 different subscription services, because everything is split apart. And you know, for the price of what you could buy one of these like brand new, which would be like $20, $30 if you're like getting a collector's edition, or, you know, sometimes the market fluctuates, so you could be paying like $40 for a Blu-ray, which is definitely like the superior way of watching that one thing, but it's down to like your setup, and again, kind of like if you can notice or not, or, you know, maybe you're watching something in 4K on a TV versus a monitor versus a cell phone, so it's kind of like, what are you really paying for? You have to really take into consideration like kind of how you watch your stuff, how you consume your media, kind of like the hardware you have to consume it. So for the most part, all of this is going to be watched on here. So there's probably a better experience, and I'll probably look into that. Another thing that comes with disc players is region locks, and that's all, again, more corporate stuff, okay? Just about anything that when it comes to like buying media or buying technology related to consuming the media is going to be down to who is making money, who's profiting, who's basically being paid for you to consume this, to own this or whatever. And so sometimes they will put software and like hardware limitations on how you consume it. So I remember I actually got a copy of X-Men Origins, the Wolverine movie or whatever, but it's like the X-Men Wolverine movie, not the Wolverine, but the other one that came before it that's worse than that one. I bought that at like a Goodwill, and it was like a couple bucks, and I couldn't watch it on my Xbox because it was actually the European version of the movie. I think I might still have it, so I should go looking for that at some point. Maybe I got rid of it. Point is that that is also a thing here that exists. So I'm pretty sure everything here is like within my region, so I shouldn't have any issues anytime soon. But, you know, if you ever want to like shop on the global international market, or if you're ever in another country buying physical media there, you're going to run into issues when it comes to region locks unless you have special equipment to handle that. So that's another thing to know. And as you can see, there's pros and cons to everything. And for the most part, you have more liberty with the stuff that you own, that you paid for, because, you know, in this day and age, buying isn't really owning anymore. The way that like the money is made off of discs is variety is based off of like the rights holders and stuff, right? So I think Sony and some other company, or maybe just Sony, is like the people who like profit from DVDs, or not DVDs, from Blu-ray sales. So every Blu-ray that's printed or whatever and sold, Sony gets a cut of that because Sony basically invented the Blu-ray, whereas the DVD I think was invented by multiple people. And up until this point now, it's just kind of like a free thing. Like you can go buy DVDs and like burn things onto them, you know, music or, you know, videos and stuff, but you are limited at a certain resolution and a certain like file size and like compressing and all those things, right? I'm pretty sure DVDs are basically capped at like 480p, so the resolution for those is like 720 by 480p. Some of these I think are like widescreen editions, so they might have like some kind of like crop or something going on to make it fit on like a 16 by 9 screen, which is what most screens are these days, instead of the original like 4 by 3 that these were probably sold for. But even then, some of these might have like a 16 by 9 mode. They're just simply going to be at that resolution, I think. Hypothetically, in terms of the viewing experience, these would probably be better on streaming services, especially just kind of like for the deal that you're getting. But at the same time, too, it's like you'd have to like sort of subscribe to these things one by one, and then there's kind of like the whole conversation about like if it's really good, you might go back and watch it, or like if it's really good, you might be able to like share it with people and stuff like that. Most of my mindset going into this is just like the physical aspect of it. Like I like seeing this here. It's gonna be awesome seeing it on a shelf and it's all like fully laid out and like everything's kind of like where it needs to be, like in its collection of its series and its franchise. It'll stand the test of time for the most part if you take care of it. But there's discs that are like better technology that exists now, and those are actually like meant to ideally last like 1,000 years. But like I said earlier, I could download all of these onto this here machine on a hard drive or like a solid state drive, and you know, if something happens to these, I'll have that copy here, and you know, I own it, so as long as I'm not like sharing it around for free or selling it, then you know, should be good. There's a whole conversation about piracy that could be had, and all I'll say is when it comes to piracy, these days, again, when it comes to streaming, and even when it comes to owning these things on the streaming platforms, like on Amazon Video, Prime Video, you can go ahead and buy like the Blu-ray, or not the Blu-ray, but you can buy like the standard definition or the high definition or the 4K version of any of these films or TV shows, but you're basically paying for licensing. You're not really paying to own it. So that's pretty much the truth about anything that you buy digitally now. It's very few places where you can actually buy something digitally and like own it truly. Like it's not sitting on somebody else's computer or sitting on someone else's server, which is just somebody else's computer, or you're not at the mercy of like licensing and all those things. So, you know, for example, I could buy I don't know, The Walking Dead on Amazon, and I could own it, and I don't have to pay like a subscription service to watch it on there, because I know that Amazon lets you watch AMC Plus. But let's say AMC Plus decides to cut ties with Amazon, and now the only way to watch The Walking Dead is on AMC Plus. And so it kind of depends on like what they end up working out at corporate and stuff like that. But for the most part, a huge example I'll use here, and this is why I'm like really into this stuff now, is Funimation was around for decades alongside Crunchyroll almost. Funny enough, Crunchyroll initially started out as like a piracy website for I think manga. So, you know, now it's like the kind of like the monopoly of the anime industry here in the West. If you want to watch something that's like, if you want to watch an anime, it's likely going to be on Crunchyroll, and it might be on like Hulu and Netflix and all those things. But again, in the world of streaming, there's like corporate battles that are had for the rights of like where you have to go and pay to watch some of these things. And so again, going back to my main example here, if I wanted to watch The Walking Dead on Prime Video, or if I wanted to buy it on Amazon, and own it digitally. If AMC decides that the only way to watch The Walking Dead through streaming or like digital ownership now is specifically at AMC Plus, then I am likely going to lose access to my copy of The Walking Dead sitting on someone else's computer because I didn't want to just go out and buy it and own it for myself. The only way I'm going to lose this is if it's like burns in a fire, or if I could lose it, or if I get robbed or something, right? So at least I know that like I won't just wake up one day and I want to go on the website and like suddenly the thing I was already watching isn't available anymore. That's like a huge selling point when it comes to physical media anymore these days, is that basically you own it. And no one's taking it from you unless, again, someone breaks into your house or something, right? Unless streaming services start breaking into people's homes and stealing their physical media, which is, that's likely not going to happen. So, with all that said, I have multiple things here. We're going to go over that stuff one by one, and you'll sort of start seeing over time that, like, yeah, most of these things are likely on different streaming services, and if I wanted to watch them at any point, I would have to be actively subscribed to those services. So, now that I own them, I know how to do that. Let me, like, show the camera out a little bit. So, this is pretty tall. It's a pretty tall stack pile here. Some of these are, like, box sets of, like, DVDs and stuff. Some of these are, like, 2-disc collections or 1-disc collections. There's hours of content here. Hello again, thanks for watching all the way through. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, give it a comment, whatever. And if you care about seeing the rest of the video, the second channel is where that video will be. So I'll have a link in the description right now, and you can just go over to that video, and that's pretty much going to cover everything that I got in the haul. And this video is more of just like the technical aspect of things, like the tech side of stuff. So again, if you care about like hearing me talk about everything that I got and like see everything that I got and sort of like yap about why I got it and all those things, you can go ahead and watch that second video, link in the description. So thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in the next one.